It continues to be an amazing journey. Your love and support helped us grow our grumpy little dwelling into an awesome experience. This early access project was launched 2 years ago with just a few hundred dedicated supporters and is now an extensive family with close to 10,000 dwellers. We have been hard at work fixing bugs, addressing issues, responding to feedback, and making the dwelling more stable than ever before. This year, we focused on the most requested features by our community, automations. We released several indomitable survivors, each with unique abilities that would be our testing grounds towards a more complete automation framework. Morg was our first venture into automation territory. Through him, we gave players the option to automatically resolve an attack against a monster and roll the appropriate dice. We also added some visual flair by having him swap his miniature weapons when axes are equipped on his gear grid. This was the first step in introducing miniature modularity for all weapons in the game. Lenore introduced activation detection on gear cards and the ability to perform pounds when the correct gear is in play. She would also be able to swap Qatar weapons when different gear cards are equipped on her grid, thus establishing a persistent trend for all indomitable survivors, retroactively adopting each other's automations as they are released. Zell introduced subtle but important effects in the showdown. Her dash ability, taken out of the automation framework, was just a fancier way to move around, but her equipped special weapon would track the dash activations and gain persistent bonuses to speed that the attack automation would then respect. Zell's contribution to ability synergies opened up the way for more complex interactions during showdown. Through Grimory, we added positional awareness of miniatures on the showdown board. Grimory paved the way to detect the blind spot position behind monsters and adding bonuses from this position to the attack automation. This would serve as a starting point for bonuses of every kind based on grid positioning. Through Kale, we continued to add more survival actions in the automation framework. Kale gave us the ability to encourage knockdown survivors. His signature weapon, the Roaring Harmonica, would also automatically grant a strength bonus to the encouraged survivors if equipped on his gear grid. With Skrell, we took a break from showdown automations to introduce innovation automations. The Fig Sapling innovation would not only resolve automatically, but we experimented with changing the actual image of the card based on its outcome. This opened up the doors to introducing simulator-specific features that would be impossible to have in the actual board game. While part of the team was working on automations, we continued introducing new expansions in the simulator. Our goal eventually is to get us completely up to date with the released board game content. The first year saw the inclusion of the entire Wave 2 of expansions. This year, we introduced white box expansions, starting with the Echoes of Death 1 and the Vignette White Giga Lion. While adding automations is our number one priority, we are still working hard on adding more expansion content. Every day, we get one step closer to our full vision for the Kingdom Death simulator. Adding automations to the simulator is perhaps our most ambitious feature to date. We heard your requests about automating parts of the board game, and we are building the foundation for a full computer RPG experience. We're not gonna lie, automating every aspect of a fully fleshed out board game with years worth of expansion content is a tall order, especially when it's an RPG layer sitting on top of an existing simulation game. Every single AI and HL card out of the hundreds in-game needs to now have scripted event sequences, respect synergies with other such cards or gear effects and survival conditions, and somehow determine the correct course of action through endless decision trees. With your support and understanding, we will stick true to our vision for this boutique software project, slowly expanding, evolving, and growing the dwelling together. This Black Friday simulator update contains very exciting new features. Gorm now has the ability to retch, spewing vomit on all unsuspecting survivors in front of him. This Black Friday also sees the release of the long-awaited Black Knight expansion. New mechanics have been introduced to enable its special rules during Showdown. As a Black Friday thank you, we have decided to add the fully sculpted version of the Black Knight terrain to the expansion. This was lovingly created in the simulator and can be used instead of the normal Black Knight Showdown tiles. Finally, the dwelling has a new heirloom, the crafting table. This little miniature crafting table can be attached to any settlement record sheet. When done so, it allows the automatic crafting of any piece of gear from the settlement locations built for that settlement. We are very grateful to be given the opportunity to work on this project. We are very excited about next year, where we should finally see the release of the Gambler's Chest. Thank you for your continued support. The Dark Key Smith is active and keys to the Kingdom Death Simulator are once again available on our web store. We hope to see you in the dwelling.